Welcome back, slot car fans. We're in the Shire and we're talking RevoSlot. We are unboxing, albeit already unboxed here on the screen, but we're getting our first look at the Castrol livery, these oil can liveries, if you will, where they came out with a new lineup, a new release, a second release, or who knows how many releases later of the Marcos. I love the Marcos. A lot of people rave about the Marcos online in terms of its overall slot car performance. Ironically, this car in the GT2 class in the 90s, I don't want to call it wasn't an overly successful car. It just didn't race for all that long. But quite frankly, hands down for me, if you're looking for a car that is a GT class car in the RevoSlot lineup, you can't go wrong with the Marcos LM600. Many of you might be familiar with the Castrol, aka Green Frog, that I did from a white kit. Well, I sure hope this one turns out just as well as that one did. But let's get a look at this out of the box and do a quick review of this car. We have a friend joining us, the Green Frog, otherwise known as the RevoSlot Marcos LM600. Because we have a sister car in here, and this is about as exciting as it gets. RevoSlot is just so on their game. Everybody knows it. Anybody that's paying attention to slot cars knows it, from the Group 2s and the vets that they've done, right? The C5 vets, or right, yeah, it was a C5 vets. All right, and just, boy, oh boy. Something said Castrol, so I came a-running. No mysteries here to me other than getting it out of the box and let us see what we have. So let's put aside that one. Not that we love you. We love you still. That'll always be a favorite of mine, that white kit. So let's get in here. Oh my goodness. Wow. This livery is beautiful. We got a little bit of makeup on there. Some beautiful, beautiful eyelashes and all kinds of things, right? Off with the lid. Out of the box. Oh, and that is an even bigger bonus that I was not counting on whatsoever. An additional rear spoiler. I mean, we're just getting so far ahead of ourselves here with RevoSlot. Extra mirrors, they've done that before on some cars for sure, but the extra spoiler, that's a really nice touch. Of course, we have the magnet and the deepwood guide. The magnet won't be in play on my track, but the deepwood guide will be coming into play immediately. And this is just a special looking car. Boy, if I wanted to empty the bank account for this month, I don't think that there's a wrong choice in the oil can liveries. I mean, just wow, we could choose all of those and we wouldn't be going wrong, right? But let's take a closer look at this Castrol livery car here. They look good next to each other, don't they? Wow. Just an altogether different situation for a Castrol livery normally. But, you know, oh, I take it back. I'm just losing my mind. They're giving you the opportunity to put the mirrors on yourself, which I'm more than happy with. I'm more than happy with doing that. Some folks would even take those pieces that are in there and they would cut that off completely, and they might even recess the mirror even further inside of there. We're not going to do that. We're going to put them on there as best we can using our testers, clear cement from the inside. So let's just, you know, up close here, let's get this car up in the camera. What do we have? Just gorgeous stuff. A little bit more of a, maybe don't even know what font that Castrol is written in, but it's definitely a little bit more unique than anything I've seen. We've got some nice stuff on the sides there. Again, a fantasy livery here. Tag, and you've got some Bilstein on there, and oh, what else? Dunlop for the rubber. Brembo on the brakes. And wow, this car is just beautiful. You've got the nice silver for the brakes and the flat on the wheels. That's actually the same thing that I did on the Green Frog. So that's a nice little pairing for me to have those two guys like that. I'm in love with this. They get the flat paint on the roof as well, the flat paint inside of here on the front. And so this is, I'm so happy. I'm so happy with this car, man. I think I might be in line to go get another one of them. I had to have the sister car here. I had to complete this, what I'll call a set now for myself. But I love the Marcos. The Marcos, I don't want to say head and shoulders, but I've not experienced any RevoSlot car that has done as well in our racing, either when this track was at War Eagle River or when this track was here at Hobbit Racing Park. There are several Marcos that are out there. Scott Culp had a couple of them. We won an Enduro together with Josh Michael's son, Rayner. And that car was retired, I believe, in the long run. I think it was the Computa Senta, number 71 livery. This car is just scalding hot. And I expect nothing different from this white number 2 here. I love it. I love the look of it. Honestly, I don't even know how popular a car it was when it was a GT car in the time, but boy, does this car boogie, and it looks great too. Underneath, you're going to find your 4 screws for the body at the outer points. Around, as they typically do, you'll find your little spring-loaded guide that is the standard guide that comes with it. You've got their Shore rubber compound that comes on there, 1233, if I'm not mistaken, and they're 21,000 RPM. Don't lose your body post screws. Very precious commodity. They can always be attained later if needed. Such a simple setup from RevoSlot, BRM, however you want to look at it when you talk about it. So many, many ways we can deal with the brass screws and the black screws that come through, the brass nuts and the black screws that come through here. You've got people greasing it. You've got folks like myself who still love to put the Gorilla Tape right here and punch it through. I'll put grease and the Gorilla Tape this time, or maybe I'll put some washers inside of there too. So many ways to slice that one up. Really nothing to do here, but just make sure you've got good gear lash. To be perfectly honest, this whole entire car is coming apart. Everything will come off. The bearings will be worked in, the ball bearings. This car comes with ball bearings. You don't have to. They sell bushings if you want to change out to the bushings, but sometimes you just can't get a good front spin and, soak the bushings, soak the ball bearings, treat them the right way, or just replace them all around with a set of bushings. I've never had any issues with clearance of the tires and I'm not aware of anybody else that's had any issues with the clearance of the tires of the Marcos cars in general. I always leave these guys on here. They help dampen the sound. We know the RevoSlot is a little bit of a loud car. I don't mind it. Is my rear wing not really attached? I guess not. I guess the rear wing is not really attached. Well, mine's not attached on the left-hand side anyway, but that's fine. That's nothing that we have to do other than put a little bit of that tester cement in there and shore that up, and that'll be just fine. And again, look at that body. I mean, that is just absolutely beautiful. I love this car from any angle. My goodness, that is beautiful from the backside there. You got the Dunlop and the Castrol and the tag inside of there, the roof line, and just, what an amphibian. What an amphibious car that is right there from the front. Absolutely beautiful. Back to the inside, again, there's no real reason to change out these motor wires or anything. The guide swap, if you don't want the spring, you can get rid of the spring, or if you want the spring. And, at the end of the day, you don't have to do any of the things if you don't want to when it comes to the pod float. If you just give it a little bit of pod float, you're still going to get an outstanding performing car, but you do want to make sure that you've got the axle housings lined up so that you've got clean alignment in both the front and the back, and that you achieve good gear lash. And it's also really important to pay attention to the spacers. I believe there's a spacer, if you do choose to take it apart, that is in between this axle block and the gear. Maybe it's actually built into the gear. I can't remember on the Marcos. And then everybody can obviously see the spacer that is right here. All the spacers, with the exception of maybe a few cars, they're not interchangeable. I tried to change the wheelbase on one of the cars because I had an issue, and I changed out to the wide. I changed from the wide 109W wheels to the 109 regular wheels because I didn't like the performance that I was getting, and I was playing around with my 911 GT1, and the spacers are specific to the cars. So if you do take it apart, don't lose that guy. Otherwise, you're going to have to back build with some other things, and you'll have to achieve another one of those. But in general, this is the idea that what you see is what you get. You're getting a fantastic car from BRM, and just like I said, if I could afford it, I'd go grab all. What is there? 6 of them. I'd go grab all 6 of them. I'm in love with all of them, and I'm most in love with the Castrol cars. If you guys follow along, I don't know how many Castrol cars I have. That's a bad question to ask me. There'll be more. There's more. There's a lot, and there's more to come eventually. I'm sure of it. Whether I do more white kits, whether I buy more of them. So this car is going to be so much fun. I know it is. The RevoSlot class is such a fun class that we have, and there's such nice cars to work with. You've got the lightweight interior, in case I didn't mention that. Again, we talk about these rubber pieces. You can even do more. You can put rubber washers around the screw, and I will. I don't know if you can see it on this car. Oh yes, I'm sure you can. You see those faint red washers that are underneath there? That also helps with your body float for performance, and it also cuts down on the rattle. So you lose some noise, but by cutting down on the rattle, you enhance performance, of course. So yeah, there's not a whole heck of a lot to do but admire this beautiful car that I know will turn out to be quite an exceptional runner with just a little bit of work. And so, boy, they look good next to each other. RevoSlot, just, man, there you go. A big thumbs up once again to RevoSlot. Thanks, guys. Those eyes are certainly smiling at you, and they're smiling at me. So next stop, tuning the RevoSlot. So thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to this content if you like what you're seeing here, and turn on those notifications. Have a great one, everybody.
If you don't subscribe to Hubble Racing, I'll poke you with my staff. Pokey, pokey, pokey. She will poke you with her staff.